Hello, everyone. I hope you all are doing great. And those who are new to this channel, a very warm welcome to this channel. I would like to request you to like, share, and subscribe, and also hit the bell icon for getting notified for more such videos. With that, let's get started with our video today. So, in today's session, what we're going to do is if you remember in one of my previous videos I showed you how to install Sterling File Gateway, which is the managed file transfer product built on top of Sterling Integrator. So to install Sterling File Gateway, what we have done is like you need to have a Sterling Integrator installation, and then you use the file gateway specific jar file that you can grab from the jars folder under the si install location that I showed you, and then you initiate a install service command to be able to then install Sterling File Gateway, which is an additional layer on top of Sterling B2B integrator. Now, though it is as it is installed on Sterling B2B integrator, I did mention in my prior video that whatever you are running within Sterling File Gateway, it typically uses the business process and the artifacts, configurations that are also there in the Sterling integrator. But why then we use Sterling File Gateway? Sterling File Gateway in certain projects are used for lot of good reasons. One of the good reason is it is very easy for a business user, right, to go into Sterling File Gateway login or dashboard and be able to search based on a certain trading partner that they are expecting files from. They can generate different reports based on different business units, different trading partners. So, from a business user standpoint, if a business user has to go and search for certain data and they don't have to rely on production support team, Sterling File Gateway is the place that can help them because it is very easy to understand and very easy to navigate. Okay, that's one of the benefit. Other than that, to set up a communication channel between a producer and a consumer. When I'm saying a producer and a consumer, in Sterling File Gateway use this terminology for certain reason. What is a producer? What is a consumer? Producer is a trading partner. It can be an internal as well as an external or an application per se, which actually is responsible for generating and sending a file. All right. Whereas a consumer is someone who is actually expecting a file and is receiving and processing a file. So, typically, like when we talk about any integration within Sterling integrator or Sterling file grid, it is basically trying to send a file from one location to another location. So that means the file is getting transferred from a producer to a consumer. Now, it can happen that that same file can be sent to multiple consumers, right? So it can happen like one to many relationship between a producer and a consumer. So you can have one producer, but there can be multiple consumers because there might be multiple downstream applications that are trying to receive the same file and then maybe process them individually based on their certain business requirements, right? Now, having said that, and while you have this foundation now behind, like while you actually basically understood the foundation of the Sterling File Gateway, let's now go to Sterling File Gateway and see what are the basic fundamental things that you need to perform within Sterling File Gateway for you to be able to set up a communication channel, right? So let's share my screen. Okay, so here is it like when you install Sterling File Gateway and then everything runs smoothly, the installation is successful. Next time, whenever you are basically restarting or starting your Sterling Integrator application, Sterling File Gateway application also gets uh, started along with Sterling Integrator by default. You don't have any control on that. And typically, when Sterling File Gateway is running on top of Sterling Integrator, the login page or the landing page that it gives when you are when the restart is successful is typically the Sterling file gateway. So, for example, for my scenario, I actually started the Sterling B2B integrator application, but when I started, it gave me this file gateway login portal. But doesn't mean that I cannot go to Sterling integrator dashboard. Like if I know what is the base port, and if I can definitely, like, instead of logging into file gateway, I can log into Sterling integrator. So for example, if you see on the top, the base port is 50,000, right? And then if you see, there's a extension like a URI, which is called file gateway slash home dot do hash login, right? So, for example, if I have to go to, let's say, Sterling integrator, I can just replace that file gateway with dashboard, and it will typically take me to Sterling B2B integrator dashboard. That's how it is. Now, if I go back and remove this dashboard and type a file gateway, it's going to take me to Sterling file gateway. Now, there's another concept within file gateway which is called my file gateway, and I'm gonna come to that. Like typically what happens is that instead of file gateway, you type my file gateway. What is the my file gateway? We'll talk about that in this session. Okay, so please bear with me. Now let's log in for the first time to Sterling file gateway. Typically the user ID that gets created by default, there are four user ID that gets created within Sterling file gateway. The first one is FG, which means file gateway underscore sysadmin. So FG underscore sysadmin. This is the system administrator for Sterling file gateway. So any configurations, anything that you do, or you provision any additional users or things like that, you can use the FG sysadmin uh, role or user ID. There's another called FG underscore architect, which is the integration architect role, right? There's another called route provision, of where you are creating routing channels and all that, and we'll talk about that right in our demo. You can log in through FG underscore provisioner. If you are just trying to like search for files, you can go as an operator, which is called FG underscore operator. But and this FG architect, FG provisioner, FG operator, okay, they have certain subset of permissions within when they log into FileGate. But FG underscore sysadmin has actually all the permissions that is needed for performing anything that you want to do within file gateway. So for our simplicity, I'm going to do everything within sysadmin, but it is advised not to do everything within sysadmin. So that's the best practice, right? Like based on which persona or what you're trying to do, you basically use that specific user ID. But let's say for our scenario, I'm going to use FG sysadmin and password, and I log in to file gateway. Now, when you log into file gateway, this is the landing page. This is how it looks like, where you basically get a search window as a home page where you can search by producer, you can search by consumer, and you can search by status of the file, whether it succeeded, failed, what's the protocol you can search. You can search by different protocols. The file name, if you know the file name, you can just search with that. So it's very easy to search data within file gateway, right? Now, on the top, if you see, there are certain additional tabs for beginners, right? The first thing that we typically do is, if you want to create or set up anything within file gateway, uh, the basic requirement is you need to have a producer, you need to have a consumer, right? That means you need to have a sender and a receiver. Now, the sender and receiver you have to configure, but before configuring them, you have to configure a community. That means the producer and the consumer can be part of the same community, can be part of a different community, right? But you need to have communities before you even create a producer and consumer. So that is a bare minimum requirement. Now, what is meant by community? Now, community can be like, assume it's kind of a grouping of several producers or consumers in one bucket. That means, and it can be like, then a grouping can be like, really depends, right? Like for example, a particular project, they might categorize and group community by maybe communication protocol, right? Like let's say there are producers, okay, who always sends data using FTP. So there might be a community called FTP community. There might be a community called SFTP community, AS2 community. It can be by protocol. It can be by business units also, right? For example, there might be a business unit which is only dealing with finance related documents. There might be another business unit which is only dealing with uh, customer orders related, right? So it can be by business unit as well. So you can think as many as possibility, and you can group community based on that, right? Now for our simplicity, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a community. So I'm going to go to participant. First thing is I'm going to create a community, and I'm going to add a community over here, and let's give a name. Okay, so let's say I give FTP for our scenario. Let's click next, and makes protocols available to partners. Partner initiates protocol connections to mailbox. Let's say I select these both, right? Like, and listens for protocols, for example, FTP for our scenario. Okay. So, and then should member partners receive notifications? Let's not do that for the time being. We can certainly do that. So, what it is trying to do is a FTP community that I'm creating that will look for files in a mailbox, or it will look for any initiation from an FTP, right? And that's kind of the overall bucket or umbrella, right, of this community. Now, once I hit finish, this community is going to get created, right? Um, and then, so the community has been created successfully. So if you see, there's an FTP community. Okay. Now I'm going to close this. The second thing that you need is now you need to create a group within this Sterling file gateway. So how am I going to do it? Okay, let's create a group. So after community, we create a group. So I'm gonna click on group, and then by default there is already a group called all partners. That means any producer or consumer that you create, they will always be part of all partners. But I need to create another additional group. Okay, so I'm gonna create a new group, and then let's give the group name as um, or maybe what we can do is I'm just thinking. Yeah, let's create a group. Yeah, so let's give maybe group one. Okay, all right, let's create the group. So group one is created, right? Now let's create partners. Second, third thing, right? Now over here, let's see. uh so this partner would belong to FTP community, so I select that. As I told, that's needed, right? Because you can't proceed further if you're not having a community, right? And then let's say I create partner one. Whatever, if you see star, that's like mandatory. The rest are not mandatory. So I'm gonna go give it the bare minimum. Country, email address, abc at test.com. So all dummy values. I click next, right? And then it says user account, right? So it needs a user account. So it needs a username. So let's give partner one. Password. Okay, all right. Repeat the password. Password policy, default, timeout, maybe name, given name, partner, surname one, and then password missing required characters. Okay, so let's see what I can give. Okay, let's do this. It didn't like my password, so I'm gonna change that. Okay, I hope now I should. Okay, there you go. Now, what do you want this partner to be? A producer or a consumer, right? So for partner one, let's select it's a consumer of data. That means it's going to receive the data, right? Okay. And let's say the partner will initiate the connection to consume the data. Okay. We'll listen for a connection to consume the data, or we'll initiate the connection to. So let's say we select the default one, initiate a connection to consume the data. All right. Now, will partner one use SSH? We are just doing FTP, so no SFTP. plus partner record data to sign. Okay, no encryption and signing. Okay, let's just keep it simple and let's finish it off. All right. Now we have created a partner one or the first partner. Let's create another partner which is going to be our producer of the data, right? So let's do that. Uh, so let me go back and let's refresh. So you should see partner one over here, and okay, is by default is part of the all partners. I can add it to the group one as well. All right. Now let's create another partner, and let's say this one is partner two. Okay, def text.com. Okay. Username partner two. Right. Default given name partner two. Next, and what I want, so the previous one was a consumer of data that will initiate a connection to the mailbox to consume the data, and this one what we want is we want it then to be a producer of data. So I'm going to toggle this off and I'm going to select partner 2 is a producer of data. All right, this is not SFTP, we're trying to do FTP. All right, and let's click next and let's click finish. Right, now after this is done, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to associate these partners with group one, right? The group that we have created, right? So see, we have two partners. All right, now let's see, group one, add partners. Let's add these partners into group one and two. Add identities to, oh, and then group, right? All right, and then execute. So I'm gonna add these two partner, if you see partner one and partner two, to group one. All right, so I hope that's done, right? Let's go back and check. If I click on group one, it should show these two partners. If I click all partners, they will always be part of that, right? As I told you, that's by default. Okay, so this is done. Now in Sterling File Gateway, we're gonna do is we're gonna create, like, the whole idea is creating a routing channel, right? Now, routing channel is like you're defining how a data from producer is going to be transferred to the consumer. And are there any transformations, like let's say you are receiving a zip file, you're going to unzip the file, send a text file within that, or you're going to send the file as is, or there are additional transformation that you want within like from producer to a consumer, right? Those kind of information is what you're going to put in the routing channel, right? Which knows how the data, once the file is sent from the producer, is going to go to a consumer mailbox, right? Now, to create a routing channel, the first thing is you need to create a template. Template is basically a skeleton which you are defining, and then you're using the skeleton, which is the routing channel template, to create a routing channel, right? So that means that you can create multiple routing channels using the same template. That means it's one-to-many relationships. So one template can, you can use that one template to create multiple routing channels, right? That's just the basic. Now let's create a template first. So for that, what we're going to do is we're going to go to routes. So if you see, there are activity, there's channels, and there's templates. So first is we need to create a template. All right, so if you see over here, there is no template here because this is a fresh installation. All right, now we're going to click on create routing channel template over here. And if you want to learn more about this, like what are the other options, why, when do we use it, and all that, you can go to the Sterling File Gateway documentation, and all the things are very like nicely explained in those documentations, so you don't have to worry about it. But for us, okay, the template type that we're going to select right now is a static. That means the consumer is selected when the channel is created. You can do it in dynamically based on file name. It can read the file name, and in the file name there might be the consumer name and all that, and can identify the consumer on runtime. So those kind of like additional options are there that you can configure. But over here, we're gonna do a static. All right. So we're gonna keep static selected. Now in a special characters, we'll not go with any special character. Keep it very simple. In the producer group, let's see where the producer belongs to which group. It belongs to group one. Where does the consumer belong to? It groups to group one. And then click next. Any provisioning facts, if you want to learn more about it, you can go and check the Sterling file gateway documentation. But typically, what provisioning fact means is basically provision fees is actually is a way like that you provide different kind of customization. Okay. When you are configuring the routing channels, right? So that's what provisioning fact means, right? Now for example, I'm going to show you one quick example. So it can be like, for example, based on the producer file structure, right, which has maybe a naming convention it follows. It might have the producer name within that, right? So you want to extract that information from that file name and use that in your routing channel, right? Things like that. It can have consumer name as well, right? It can have a combination of producer and a consumer name. It can have different like routing timestamp. It can have consumer code, right? Producer file name, all that information. So provisioning facts are basically a way of determining, okay, what is the how you're going to identify to which consumer the file made, because as I mentioned, there can be one producer, multiple consumers, right? So this provision fact actually helps us to kind of determine that using this routing channel template, and then the eventual routing channel to be able to then route the file to the right consumer. Right now, in this provisioning fact, for our example, if you can understand, like let's say I'm going to add a provisioning fact over here. So fact name, let's give my user ID. That means here what I'm doing is based on the user ID, like partner one is or partner two, okay, is going to identify which consumer the file has to be sent to, right? And as I told, it's a static, right? So that means always it will be flowing from partner 2 to partner 1, because partner 2 is the producer, partner 1 is the consumer in our case, right? So display label, let's put user ID, and description is the user ID to send it to, for example. All right, save, and then go to next. This is where producer mailbox path. Right now here, producer file structure, let's keep this one as same, like the mailbox name, but producer file structure, let's click add. Let's see what we need to do. Producer file type, maybe we can select like we're going to do a text. All right, and file name pattern as regular expression, maybe dot plus, that means any. All right, and file name pattern group fact names comma deleted, will not give you anything, like just keep it as is. So the file should be transferred as is with no name change. All right, in the consumer, let's see, um, delivery channel description. So let's click on add over here. Keep consumer name slash inbox as is. Okay, and if check mailbox is matching this pattern, may be created on day one. So I want this to be created if it is not there. And consumer file structure, let's see what we do. Let's click on create add, and then let's do a text. Save consumer file type is text. File name format, Hmm, enter standard facts name like producer, okay, or custom fact names like producer, use the file name format, okay. What should we give? Let's see, file name format. Maybe, how about this? Consumer name. All right, let's do this, okay, and then click on save. So I'm gonna save this routing channel template. Oh, okay. I have to give a name, right? Sorry. Okay, so let's give a name. and let's put first static. All right. So now routing channel template has been successfully created. So all good. You can click on this and you can see all the information that you have done. You can edit it. But here you can edit it. You can change a lot of things over here. Once you have created a routing channel based on the skeleton, if you want to come back and edit this template, it will say there's already a routing channel created on top of this template. So you cannot edit it. So to edit that template, then means you have to create all, like delete all the channels, because the channels are basically using the template as a skeleton, right? As the bare, like the foundation of it, right? So you cannot do that. So just keep in mind. Now the next thing is, and probably the last thing, is creating a routing channel and then testing. All right. So I'm gonna click on create, and let's say I give name first. Uh-oh, uh-oh, give me one sec, go back. Let's create something. First, something happened. Static. Okay. Okay. So I have to select, sorry. Yeah. So now I've selected first static. Then the producer is, who is the producer? So I can click, even like I can drop down. Let's use this one. So partner two is the producer, right? Partner one is the, and then user ID is user one, right? I will select. So it's gonna create the routing channel for me, right? Right. Now time for testing. Here is where I'm gonna sign out from here. There is one more thing which is called my file gateway. That means my file gateway is a portal that you can expose and you can give it to your trading partners or your internal team, like based on whether they have access, they have the producer or the consumer and all that, and they can have their own user credentials to be able to log into their file gateway, which will have a limited information, but they will only be able to see their file transfers, and they will be able to upload download files through that portal. So that's another additional portal within file gateway itself, okay, which is exposed to the partners or the business users, right? Okay, you can like expose them to the business users as well, right? Now for that to log in, okay, because we're going to test, so we have to log into who's my file gateway. Guess is the producer's my file gateway for us to upload a file, right? So we're gonna type my file gateway, same page, but based on which user account you're using. So we're gonna log in as partner two. You remember we gave partner two as the user ID, and there was a password that we configured. We're gonna log in as long as the login is successful the first time you're logging in, so it will tell that's the default mechanism to change the password, right? So you give your previous password and then you give a new password. Definitely it has to be a different one, and I changed my password at my first login. All right, now if you see, the my file gateway portal has slight difference, right, in respect to file gateway. So if you see here, you can see for file activity, only your file activity, upload files, download files, and reports. So this can be used by the business users as well, right, or business team, which doesn't know more about Sterling Integrator. Because Sterling Integrator, if you give a business user, okay, go and search files for this, like they will have challenges, right? That's why they have to rely on production support team to give them the data, right? Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go here and just gonna do a testing. So you can see there will be a mailbox inbox already created for you, and I'm gonna browse a text file, maybe MS SQL, and I can rename it on runtime, or I don't want to, I can just click on send. All right. Files will not be processed. Okay, let's see. Oh, did I do one thing? Let me see. Go back here and let's see this one, right? I think we need to upload it in the root not the inbox, because inbox is where you're actually, yeah, that's a different one. Okay, so file upload succeeded with 53 bytes and message ID of 2, waiting for file to process, right? Um, and then, like, if you just search, you see routed partner 2, right? And you see, if you click on the file, write file, so you upload the file, it goes into the mailbox, then user partner 2 send the write file ms sql to mailbox partner 2, which has a message id, file size, data flow, workflow, that is the business process id. A write file is now returning routes, so based on a routing channel template that you have, and then routing channel, it's finds, okay, it found one route, right? And then what it is trying to do is, see, is the consumer code the partner one, so it knows now that it has to be sent to the partner one, which is the consumer. Now it goes and then it starts routing the file, it extracts, okay, now you see it extracted text layer from so arrived file is now routed, that means it has been routed to the partner one, right? If you see, click on route, the partner one route is now complete, right? And if you see the delivery is now complete, right? Now, how do I know? Let's do one quick thing. This is partner 2, all right? Let's log in to my file gateway using partner 1. So same thing, it's going to ask me for change the password. Okay. And then, okay, I'm going to log in. So password is changed. I should be able to see the file to this consumer. Let's search for it, right? You say partner 2 has sent to partner 1 a file, and the right file is routed, all the information, stuff like that, and you have an option of download files also, right? Like if you want to download the file, you see it has landed in here, and say if you click on this, we give the file name as consumer name. If you remember, you can give it dot plus, that means if you give dot plus over there, then the file name comes as is, right? We can do that as well. You can click on it and it's going to ask you to save the file in your local if you want to download, so you can just download the file, right? So yeah, and once you download, okay, it's going to go away from here because it's only downloadable once, right? But you still be able to see the search criteria. You should be able to see all the entries of the files coming in and all that, right? And there's another good thing that you can see, like you want to do one quick thing, information like stuff. Let's do one another stuff. Let's go to partner 2, so you can play around with this stuff. Let's say I've uploaded the file was sent, but then the partner is saying, I haven't received the file, can you resend, right? Fun stuff. Let's see. I click on this and say, oh, I have sent the file. You say you haven't received it. Okay, I can right click on this, right? And it says replay this arrived file, which means that you can actually replay, that means send the file to the partner one more time. So I don't have to upload the file again. The file is already there in the mailbox, right? So I'm gonna, let's see. For some reason, it's not getting clicked or what. Uh, for some reason, it is not getting clicked. But typically, like if you see over here, you should be able to over here you should be able to click on this, and then you should be able to replay this arrived file. Okay, or let's do one thing. Let's yeah, yeah, it's for some reason it's not working, but anyway, you got the gist of it, right? That's important. All right, I can do the same thing if I have mistakenly downloaded the file and it went out of the mailbox. Hmm. Yeah, I can do over here also, but it's still not working. And then the other thing that I was saying, the business users, they can literally like, okay, I want to know partner one is a producer, right? Okay, and this is okay, partner, not partner one. All right, let's me see clear. Consumer is partner one, and I want to see all the file, and I want to generate the report in a PDF format. This is all the file for last 1 month. I can generate this report without even relying on anyone, right? And I can just save this on my desktop, and then I'm gonna show you, right? Let's see. I don't have a PDF reader, but typically you will see all the file details within this PDF report, right? You can do that. You can generate an HTML. Maybe let's do an HTML, or maybe let's do HTML. Let's generate another time. So this is how the even the PDF file would look like, right? You will see how many producer ID, consumer, right? Discovery time, status, routed, what is the original file, file size, and all that. Successful, error, right? All those details. So you can see file gateway route by producer detail report. So you can generate report, like so. That's kind of the benefit of Stalin file gateway. One of the benefit, right? I hope this was useful. Please let me know, right, in the comment section if you have any questions on this file gateway understanding. Feel free to test it out in your lower environment, right, that you have access to, and let me know if you find any specific questions that you want me to address in my future videos. Happy to do that. With that, again, one more time, welcome to new folks to this channel. Please like, share, subscribe, and also hit the bell icon for getting notified. And let me know what additional topics that you want me to cover, and I'm happy to consider them in my upcoming videos. With that, have a nice day, and I'll talk to you next week.